There was a day when I just had to tell my point of view. I was like you. Now I don't mean to make you frown. No, I just want you to slow down. Have you never been that low? Have you never tried to find a comfort from inside you? Have you never been happy just to hear your song? Have you never let someone else be strong? Running around as you do, with your head up in the clouds. I was like you. Never had time to lay back, kick your shoes up, close your eyes. I was like you. Now you're not hard to understand. You need someone to take your hand. Have you never been that low? Have you never tried to find a comfort from inside you? Have you never been happy just to hear your song? Have you never let someone else be strong?
Good morning. Welcome to Legacy 1160 WSKW. John James, here your pep rally for freedom. Let's get it going. Let's make it rain on in here. 621-9759-207-441-6969. Numbers to call. Actually, the 441-6969 number is the Legacy text line. Would love to hear from you any which way. We're all over the place this morning. We've added some streaming, so the numbers are, love the numbers on the main screen here. But I still think I'm being shadow banned. My personal page being shadow banned. Pretty sure of that. Because the numbers change dramatically. So, but we're on VK.com. I don't know if you know what that is. That is the Russian. There are a lot of Americans on that, by the way. That is the Russian Facebook. And it's VK. It stands for, I forget how to pronounce it. VK is not the, that's the address, VK.com. But if you want to sign up for it, you can. You can sign up for VK.com. Also, OK.ru. We're on Twitch TV now. And we're on YouTube and, of course, Facebook at American Women Who Bear Arms, Freedom's Pep Rally, Legacy 1160, and my personal page. And coming up at 9:30, we have the Doc. We have Dr. John Garofalo is going to be here. If you have a question for a medical doctor, by all means, this is free for anyone. It may be good advice. It will be good advice. It may not be the advice you want to hear, but it could give you some idea what ails you, or at least give you a few different options of things. maybe lessen your worry, maybe cause you more worry. But I mean, if there's a reason to worry, you want to be told the truth, right? Because that's how we are. We like to hear the truth even if it hurts. All of us aren't like that. No names mentioned. I'm not going to mention any names, but we're all not like that. Some of us don't like to hear the truth if it hurts. I don't care. It does hurt sometimes, but you got to hear it. Because you can't change the truth. And that's what we are here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. We are truth. Truth unleashed on your radio. 621-9759-207-441-6969. We'll get right into the show. Let's take a look at what happened on this day in history. It is November the 25th, and this is the Associated Press.
November 25th, 1963. Three days after his slaying in Dallas, the body of President John F. Kennedy is laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. 1986. In Washington, new details about the Iran-Contra affair engulfed President Ronald Reagan's administration. Reagan and Attorney General Edwin Meese reveal profits from secret arms sales to Iran have been diverted to the Contra rebels in Nicaragua. 1783. British forces evacuate New York, their last military position in the United States during the Revolutionary War. 1999. Off the Florida coast, fishermen rescue Elian Gonzalez after he survived a shipwreck while trying to reach the U.S. with his mother. An international custody battle soon unfolds between Elian's father in Cuba and the boy's Miami relatives. The following year, the U.S. government removes Elian from those relatives and returns him to his father. And 1914.
You know, you're not only doing it for yourself, but at the fans.
Joe DiMaggio, one of baseball's greatest hitters and center fielders, was born in Martinez, California. Today in history, November 25th, Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back. There you go. Wow. 1999. Elian Gonzalez. 1999. 21 years ago. I remember it can't be 21 years ago, this kid. I remember they had him in a closet, didn't they? And it was a Saturday. I was doing a live broadcast for 92 Moose at, I think it's called the Vac Shack on College Avenue in Waterville, right next to where Desiree's restaurant is now. Desiree, who works for The Mix, does the morning mix with Jay. She has a restaurant, right? It used to be the Homestead or something. Now it's Desiree's place. I was there, and we were watching this play out on TV. This, like, SWAT team went into this closet, I think. Now, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. 21 years ago? Wow. Time. I'm going to sing Sunrise, Sunset here for y'all. Where was the little girl I carried? That's not how it goes. I love that song, but I'm not going to sing it. It brings tears to my eyes. 9:20 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. I'm John James. And boy, there's a lot to get to. Thanksgiving tomorrow. And yesterday, the Thanksgiving turkey was pardoned. Did you see that on the TV? Trump pardoned the Thanksgiving turkey. Now, boy, you talk about undoing Barack Obama's legacy, huh? I mean, the turkey that he pardoned yesterday was from Iowa. Remember, under Obama, I believe it was from Kenya, wasn't it? The turkey. The turkey. It was 1621, right? Was that the first Thanksgiving? The Pilgrims, right? 1621. There's an anniversary. That's next year. Oh no, yeah, next year will be the 400th anniversary of the first Thanksgiving. And I remember the story. If I recall the story right, the Pilgrims dined with the Indians at their buffet casino back in 1621. I may have that wrong too. I don't know, but I think it's right. 921 here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Anyway, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you here. And a lot going on. We still have not got a president and vice president elect. I don't care what the news media says. The news media cost the election, you know. The news media is a big part of what cost the election. I'll prove it later on. I will prove it to you later on. The Media Research Center has done a great poll, a good-sized sample, too, that shows CNN, and I've been telling you, the most dangerous thing in America is the media. They literally, if this election gets thrown, I don't believe it did, by the way. I believe there are too many smart Americans out there who did vote for Donald Trump, whose votes aren't being counted by virtue of the fact that we've got so many fraudulent votes, it outweighed the Trump votes. I do believe Trump probably won by a landslide. I truly do. I think there were votes that shouldn't have been counted. I think there were votes that were destroyed. I believe that. I have been looking at all the different research and outlets. We'll bring that to you this morning. A lot of it's going to be after 10 o'clock. We've got the doctor coming up at 9:30, but you want to be here for it. I've got a lot of stuff to lay out for you, and I want you to hear it. Not the least of which is what Sidney, what's her name? Sidney Powell is working on, the attorney, who is a well-respected attorney. Oh, the left went nuts when Jenna Ellis tweeted the other day that, you know, Sidney Powell's not part of Trump's legal team. Oh, the left went nuts. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Ha, 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 ha. Well, she's just going in a different direction, that's all. She has not lost any credibility with the team. She's going in a different direction. She is a former federal prosecutor. She's headed in a different direction. What she could have on Dominion and the voting system, from what I can tell, Giuliani and Ellis and Wood, if he's part of it, and he seems to be involved in some way, what she has, theirs pales in comparison. If she can prove it in time. This is huge. But we don't know. We still don't know. We will soon. We've got to know soon. What is going on here? Hold on. All right. Computer's acting up. We're okay. Nothing to see here. Look away, please. 924. If you want to ask a question of Dr. John Garofalo, go ahead and post it on this video. And I'm going to try to monitor the pages on Facebook that we're pushing out to, which include Legacy 1160, of course, American Women Who Bear Arms, my page, and Right America Media. By the way, I'm going to be on Right America Media this afternoon with Doc Green. I will be there via video. I was there by a phone the other day. I'll be there via video. Doc's in Texas. And we set up a real good connection the other day after his show when I finally figured out he had the wrong email for me. So we'll be talking God, guns, and glory after 3 o'clock on the Doc Green Show today on Right America Media. I hope you join us. It's rightamericamedia.com. They've also got a Facebook page. So you'll hopefully be there for it. But if you have a question for the doctor, time is wasting. I will not keep him on the phone for the whole half hour if we don't have the questions. I realize we get a holiday weekend coming up. I'm surprised at the number of people who are actually off today and have a 5-day weekend. How clever was that? When the Pilgrims and the Indians, when they had their first Thanksgiving, they chose a Thursday so they could have a long weekend. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm telling you, I look at the people now. Seriously, I look at the people now. Okay, discount what I just said about the 4-day weekend. But I look at people now who consider themselves patriotic Americans on the left. And I'm sorry, yeah, I'm saying you're not, in my humble opinion. I've got a right to that opinion, by the way. If it hurts, I don't care. I do not care. I get freedom of speech. Shut me down. When the country was founded 240 some odd years ago, 240 Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776. Constitution, 1787. So it's been well over 200, 2.25 centuries. And back then, the founders, the framers of America, had more sense about what was going to be happening today than the people living today do. At least the left, at least the progressive left, because all they see is wrong. All they see is what's wrong with America. You know what's wrong with America right now? People like Janet Mills, Governor Janet Mills of Maine. That's what's wrong with America right now. Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland. Governor Kate Brown. Governor, I could go on and on. Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I mean, this is what's wrong with America. They're all leftists or rhinos. Charlie Baker in Massachusetts, issuing draconian rules that we must live by. Mills extended her order another month. I mean, I say this every month. Why doesn't she just go ahead and extend it to next summer? In March, she extended it through April. In April, she extended it through May. Do you realize Governor Janet Tyrant Mills has extended the emergency order, the order of control, the order that gives her the ability, legal as questionable, to usurp power of the people for herself? She's extended it 9 times. And don't worry, we'll be in double digits next month. There's no question. Why doesn't she just do it? She's a tyrant. Just do it, Janet. Just do it. You're going to do it. Do it. Do it. Don't keep giving people false hope, which you do. These bars, 2 times now, 2 times bars, which you closed because you think they're a bad place. They're COVID super spreaders. 2 times they've gotten ready to open. 2 times you've shut them down. You've taken Rick Savage's license at Sunday River Brewing. He can't even open his restaurant now for anything. This is tyranny. And what gets me is how dumb people are, how dumb the progressives are. I'm sorry, if you're a progressive, this hurts, doesn't it? This hurts. You're dumb. I'm sorry. If you voted for Joe Biden, you are dumb because you have had a taste for almost a year, going on a year now, of what socialism and tyranny feels like, looks like, and does. And you still voted for a tyrant. Whoa, Joe Biden's a moderate. Bull. No, Joe Biden's no moderate. Joe Biden is at best a puppet, at worst a communist. He is, why else would he have chosen the most leftist member of the Senate? Kamala Harris to be his vice president. Why else? Why wouldn't he have chosen another moderate? Because he's not a moderate. He's not. I love it. Democrats, oh, Joe's a moderate. Baloney. Look at who he's putting on in his cabinet. I have got a great piece by Tucker Carlson later on this morning. If you missed Tucker's Open, this is something every American should hear. Every single American should hear what we face, especially when it comes to guns. Oh, my, oh, my. This is scary stuff. This is very scary stuff. Thank goodness we have voices like Tucker's out there. Somebody who knows, somebody who has time and staff to research everything and get all the sound he needs to back up what he says. Oh, it is so very telling, so very scary. You have got to hear this. I'm here until noon. And I'm gonna give you as much as I can in that time. We do have Dr. Garofalo, though, standing by. So we'll be back with a real live medical doctor. If you have a question, go ahead and post it. I'd prefer you do it on my personal page, John, Jon James. It's a picture of my two of my four adorable grandsons. It's Gavin and Max. That's who they are. So you can find my page, but I'll try to check them all out. If you have a question, get it in now. The sooner, the better. And Dr. G is coming up next. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
What a fantastic time to shop for fall items at Townline Antiques, where you'll find 2 floors and thousands of items throughout history. Townline Antiques has vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and much more. If you haven't been recently, there are new booths and lots of new items, including a full booth of Christmas goodies for anyone who wants to spread some early cheer. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff here from K-Tronics, your local TV expert, and I want to tell you about Dish TV. If technology, value, and customer satisfaction are important to you, then it's time to cut the cable cord once and for all. Upgrade your TV experience and start saving with Dish today. Drop by K-Tronics at 57 Main Street in Madison. Call 207-696-3200 or visit us on the web at ktronicsmain.com. We are K-Tronics, your locally owned, operated, and trusted satellite TV experts.
Hi, my name is Tony Esposito from Rockland Ford. This year has been crazy, and this month, so are our deals. Ford has finally started making cars again, so our lot is full and the incentives are high. This month only, you can buy a brand new redesigned Ford Escape for as low as $22,415 or $359 a month with no money down. I repeat, you can buy a brand new Ford Escape at Rockland Ford for as low as $359 a month with no money down. And if a truck is what you need, we got you covered. Rockland Ford just made a special purchase of 35 low-mileage program F-150s, as low as $23,995 or only $359 a month with no money down. This month only, buy a brand new Escape or program F-150 for $359 a month with no money down. Call us while supplies last at Rockland Ford, home of the Rock Bottom Deal, Route 1 in Thomaston.
Payments are for qualified credit for 84 months at 4.5% APR.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Light snow showers this morning. Many areas could see a light coating of snow. We'll see highs in the mid-30s inland to the low 40s at the coast. Will be a rainy Thanksgiving with some freezing rain possible inland during the morning. Highs in the mid-30s inland to the mid-40s at the coast. Mostly cloudy near 50 Friday, partly to mostly sunny for the weekend.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Hey, good morning, 9:34 right now. And on the phone with us, Dr. John Garofalo, I believe. I got 2 lines going here. I'm going to try this one. Are you there, Dr. G? Are you there? Apparently not. Apparently he's on the other line. Dr. G, are you in the house? Hello? Do we have him on either line? Dr. G? Apparently not. All right. Well, I knew I should have gone to the phone during the break, but I really didn't have a chance to. Hi, Dr. G, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, what happened? I did not touch the phone. If I hung up on you, I didn't. Does that make sense? Yeah, well, you sound like you're a little reluctant to believe that, but I'm being totally serious with you. You don't believe it. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, Bill.
How you doing?
All right.
Yeah?
Yep, I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit this morning.
Okay. Soapbox. Okay, get right on it.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm listening, and I'll tell you what, and I'm going to tell listeners this. Any listeners who disagree with anything, this is Dr. G. He is a medical doctor, a recently retired ER doc and PCP, and he is taking this virus very seriously. He is a doctor. He took the Hippocratic Oath, and I am not going to push back on anything he says because this is his time. Okay, I just want to make that clear because people tend to push back.
Well, that's okay, and I don't mind pushback because that's what I'm going to do right now is push back a little bit.
Okay, go right ahead.
All right. Well, here's the deal. 12 new deaths. Okay, 12 new deaths. The highest number of recorded cases ever in the state of Maine in the last day, and here's the thing. Everybody talks about how any mandate coming out of the governor's office or anywhere else is an infringement on their rights and on their ability to do things the way they want to do them. But let me run this by you. How many people since yesterday? Now, granted, they didn't all die yesterday. Only 2 of the deaths actually occurred yesterday. A few of them were over the last couple of days. But 12 more people no longer have their rights because people infringe their rights and their rights to be out and be safe and be careful and do all that. And I think it's time to stop making this argument about rights and privilege and all this nonsense. It is. It's just nonsense. It's political nonsense, and it needs to stop. And I think we need to start looking at the fact that we need to do what we need to do to try to protect each other. It's not a matter of trying to control people or do anything like that. It's a matter of protecting each other. And your friends, your family. And I think I think it's time to do that. And and the thing is whether people want to accept it or not, public health laws exist just for that purpose. Why do we have laws against spitting? Why do we have laws against all these things? Because those things protect other people from being infected by you if you have something. And that's important. I mean, here and you talk about what can people do? Well, I mean, if the rule in this state right now is if you're in a store, you're supposed to be wearing a mask. You're indoors. And I just saw it the other day where someone refused to put a mask on going into a store. And I think the store owners don't understand. They have the right to act as if that person is trespassing because they're violating the rules of being in the store. It's just like the rules. If you were a member of a club that had a limited membership, if you enter that club without being a member, well, then you're trespassing. Well, it's the same thing with the public health initiatives. If you're entering a store without wearing a mask, then you're trespassing. And I think people have got to begin to understand that. And I'm not, I mean, you know me well enough, John, to know that I'm not sanguine about people telling me what to do. But I am willing to let people tell me what to do if I know in my heart of hearts, and I do, that is protecting other people from me. And I think that's the bottom line. And until we're ready to accept that, I don't know what else to tell people other than let's smarten up, people. Gotta smarten up. And if you're not willing to do it, then you're gonna see more draconian stuff coming your way. Because people are dying because of the way we're behaving. And it's just unacceptable. Okay, that's my rant for today.
All right. Well, no, I understand. And I will have my little pushback here. I'm not going to push back a lot because I understand. I understand it's serious. In fact, I understand now there is a nursing home in Augusta, I heard through the grapevine, that has over 20 cases of COVID-19.
That's correct.
So have you heard that?
Yeah, that's very good. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's fact. I know that. And yeah, you don't have to convince me that it's for public safety and public health. But I know that myself. I have common sense enough myself to know that. And I don't need to be told. People resent being told by the government. People resent it. And I think it makes them more apt not to obey. And I get that because people push back when tyrants flourish. And I think Governor Janet Mills has really, she's really taking too much power into her hands rather than suggest strongly. And the stores, by the way, are you know, if you're a club, and like you said, I mean, you brought up a real good point there. If you're a club and somebody's not a member, they have every right to tell you not to come in. But they also have every right to say, and I've had friends that, like the Elks Club, or there's VFW in Winslow, say, you know, because I'm not a member of either of those clubs, come on in, you're okay. So that's up to the people who run the place or the store owner to say. They don't have to keep you out. I mean, why would they want to throw business away?
Because they have a responsibility as a citizen and as a member of our society to allow everybody to express their freedoms and to be safe. First off, the whole purpose of our society is to help and protect each other. We are to look out for each other. Read the Declaration of Independence. Read the Constitution. Read the doggone.
We the people, Dr. G. We the people, not the government. The government is
right. And that what I'm saying is, as we the people have a responsibility to help protect each other. We need to be helping and protecting each other.
I agree.
And if you're not willing to do that, then that's when the government has the authority, as granted by our own Constitution, to step in and say, no, this is what you need to do, and that's what you need to do.
But we do. We don't need Janet Mills telling us what. We don't need Mama Janet.
John, I went into a store. I went into Harbor Freight, okay? It was Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight, okay.
In Waterville.
Okay.
I was in the store. I was far enough away from the door that I couldn't step up and say anything, because I do have a fiduciary responsibility as a physician, as being a member of the public health community.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
I was too far away to step up and say anything myself. However, this guy came in the store, no mask on. The employee who was at the door said to him, "Sir, do you have a mask? Would you put it on?" And he says, "No, I don't have one." And the guy says, "Well, we have some right over there by the door." He said, "Well, I'm not going to wear one."
Okay.
At which point, the response of that individual in the store should have been, "I'm sorry, sir. Current regulations in the state of Maine require that everyone indoors be masked. And if you don't want to wear a mask, then you should be leaving." And that's what he should have said. And that's because he's protecting not only that individual, but he's protecting the other people in the store.
Well, the other people in the store have the right to leave if they feel uncomfortable. And if he's social distancing, which if I'm not wearing a mask, I always social distance enough. And there's usually plexiglass when you get to the checkout. I mean,
that doesn't help if you come around the corner and you run face to face into somebody.
Well, you have to.
That's where that all breaks down, John. You can't have it both ways. The only way to be safe indoors is to have a mask on.
The only way to be safe indoors is to have your governor, the parent, order you what to do, because you're a child and you can't think for yourself. No, that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is back to the arrogance of ignorance. Those who don't understand are saying that I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask because I don't understand why this makes a difference.
Well, it's the cost of freedom, Dr. G. Just like drunk drivers, ignorant people go out driving drunk. Ignorant people speed. Ignorant people go out and they shoot at sounds in the woods during hunting season. It's the cost of freedom. Freedom isn't free for any of us, and we take chances. Hopefully, we don't take unnecessary chances. But some people,
that's what's being done. People are being forced to take an unnecessary chance.
The government is.
I have a right to be in that store.
Right.
If your behavior is going to. That would be like someone coming in and taking over the store and saying, "I'm not letting anybody in here."
I have a right to be on. I have a right to be on the road and not have to worry about a drunk driver killing me. But there are ignorant people out there. So what do? I pay attention.
You depend on the government to do the best they can to keep those people off the road. That's what you do. What you're doing, John. You're doing it all the time.
Okay. So what you're saying to me is there are no limits to what Janet Tyrant Mills should be able to do.
Yes, there are limits. That's why when you talk about her having to change things several times, because what happened is as things loosened up, there is a limit on it. She has to renew those orders every 30 days. And when you get to the 30 days, if there's still a problem, then the order needs to be renewed. And that's what happened. Wow. That's how that happened that way. And there are limits on it. There are limits in the law on how often these things can be done.
There's a 99+% survival rate. And I understand you had a friend that passed away, and I'm very sorry for that.
12 more Mainers died yesterday, John.
Yeah, I understand that. What were the ages of them? Do you have the ages of all of them?
I don't have those in my hand right now.
Okay.
Why does that matter? Does it matter if it was
it doesn't. It doesn't matter. But we know who the population we need to be careful with is. My wife and I are. I wear a mask where I go. I understand. Not all people do. If I'm near somebody who's not wearing a mask, and I am wearing a mask, and I don't want to take a chance, and I avoid it. I avoid close contact. It's that simple. I'm free, I'm smart, and I don't need Janet Mills and whoever the next president's going to be. God help us if it's Joe Biden, because we're going to see a lot more of this, and it's not going to be just the coronavirus either. It's going to be a lot more, and we'll get to that later on this show. So that's where I'm at. I don't want government interfering in my life. And if they do, then they should be held accountable. And the only way we can hold them accountable is at the ballot box. And now we don't even know if elections are fair anymore because of all the rampant fraud there was in the presidential election. Provable.
Then let's look at it this way. If government is not supposed to interfere in your life, and you don't want them interfering in your life and doing anything that protects you from the malfeasance of others, then what else would you like to get rid of?
Well, okay.
Well,
no, you're opening up a can of worms here, Dr. G. I mean, why wouldn't, if the government can do this, and I understand this is serious. I've never denied it's serious, and I've never denied that I should wear a mask when I need to, when I feel I need to, because again, I'm kind of smart that way. But if they can do this, why can't they say, well, cold and flu season, we don't want the cold or flu being passed around, stay in. I mean, this just opens up a slippery slope. This is what I'm saying. I'm not focusing just on this one thing. I'm focusing on what this could mean going forward, because this was so easy to get everybody to comply with everything from the lockdowns, which were going to last until we flattened the curve. And now that order has been extended not 3, 4 times, but 9 times by the governor. We'll be in double digits when she extends it next month. And where do we go from here? I look at the big picture, not super hyper-focused on what is happening with COVID-19. And I don't deny it's serious and we should take precautions. But you've got to look at what the government's doing. And
the operative thing in the start of your statement was that you are smart enough to know when to do it.
Correct.
There's a whole lot of people who aren't, John.
But you
And
cannot.
there's a whole lot of people who don't want to understand.
But you know that you can't legislate common sense.
No,
right?
I know that, but you can legislate behavior. You can legislate what you can and cannot do.
Okay.
Those same people are being told that they shouldn't drive drunk, for instance.
Okay.
Things like that, and you can and you have to do that sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not saying it applies to everyone, but in a circumstance such as this, it is necessary. Look, I'm not a nanny state kind of guy. I don't want them telling me how I have to live.
Right.
I don't want
Okay.
them
Good.
telling me what I have to eat or what I have to. I'm not that kind of guy.
Okay.
When it comes to public health and the fact that, in other words, if I want to eat 12 eggs every day, that's my business, because the only person I'm going to hurt eating those 12 eggs is me. But if I'm walking around with a potentially infectious disease, I'm not endangering only me. I'm endangering other people.
Okay.
That's where I believe we have a right to step in and say that behavior is unacceptable.
The government, in my mind, is getting too powerful. They're usurping too much power from the people. I agree. People are ignorant. There are a lot of ignorant people out there. I got a guy just said, you've got a couple of fans on here who, no, Joe Biden is not president-elect, Dave. Joe Biden is not president-elect. I'm looking at some comments right now on one of the pages. He is not. This has not been decided yet. Go to Epic Times and see the map there. That's the true map. It's not what mainstream media and the brainwashed MSNBC and CNN are telling you. It's just not true. You have to admit that. You're the one who is the lemming, my friend. And Al says, you said you would not push back. I gave you your time, right, Dr. G? You aren't saying that I didn't.
No. You
okay.
You and I are having what I would call a spirited discussion.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody's been. We've kept it non-personal.
No, I mean
that's what discourse is. And we've been having a discourse, not a name calling match, and that's
right.
I don't.
But no, believe me, Dr. G and I are going to leave this show friends, and he's gonna take us out and buy us dinner sometime soon. No,
I'm the one who's retired. You're buying dinner.
Oh, that's right. You're on a fixed income, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. I mean, in the whole spirit of understanding, I understand what you're saying, and I understand that you have got a whole different place you're coming from. I never took the Hippocratic Oath. I have never been a medical doctor. I only play one on the radio, living vicariously through you. You're kind enough to do this every week. And, I would encourage people to be safe when you're out. I encourage people to be safe when they're out. And I am. I try to be. But where you and I have the disconnect is what you think the power of the government should be. We have a pretty strong disagreement on that, but I think we're all of the same understanding. I'm not going to deny there are more people dying. I'm not going to deny there's a boatload, probably more today, in a local nursing home here in Augusta. And I don't know how severe they are. I don't know how many, if any, will die. I hope none. And no, I don't. To answer your question from earlier, I don't think anybody is any less valuable than anyone else. But we know what the population, we know who the most affected population is, and they are older and people with underlying conditions. And those people also have to be very cautious too, whether or not masks are mandated or worn by choice. These people, knowing they have underlying conditions, have to be super careful.
Well, here's another little interesting tidbit. The number of infections in children Okay, and the infections now, mind you, I'm not talking death. I'm talking infections in children. It's gone up by over 30% in the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the reason that that's so important, especially right now with families gathering, is that those kids, the majority of which were probably asymptomatic, totally asymptomatic.
Right.
But if they give that infection to grandma,
understood.
Yep. And so that's why I think it's important to remember to continue to be careful and be respectful.
Yeah.
All I'm asking for is for people to respect your fellow citizens.
We love our kids and we love our grandkids. But guess what? Marianne and I are having Thanksgiving by ourselves tomorrow, sadly. So, we get it. Yeah, see?
Kate and I are alone tomorrow, too. Yep.
Yeah, I get that. And my wife is more probably when it comes to mask. You know what? This is interesting. I know where she stands on masks. She's all about masks. She does the PPE every day. Full bore. You don in the morning, you doff at night, or, beginning to end. It's PPE. And it's very uncomfortable, but she gets it and she pushes it, and she has convinced me to do it. She's an RN. She's a nurse. My daughter's a nurse. And so I understand that, but I don't know where she stands on the government mandates. I don't know if she's for or against Janet Mills' mandates. I really haven't asked. So perhaps I should. Not that it matters, because we're going to be careful anyway.
Right.
So
it's the people who aren't careful that I worry about.
Yeah.
So,
well, listen, Dr. G, we're out of time. I like it when you get on your soapbox. It's good. It's good having the back and forth. I appreciate it. I really do.
I assume we didn't have any questions today.
No, I haven't seen any questions. We're getting a lot of comments both ways, by the way, and I'm glad we are. I'm glad we're getting comments on both sides. It's good. We're having a conversation, a discussion. You and I disagree on some things, but we're gonna be okay, man.
No, I understand it, and I would hope that the people who are making comments, I hope they're making them in the same spirit and the same way that you and I have our discourse back and forth. It doesn't become personal. It doesn't become. I suppose in some sense it's political, but we're really not partisan political. There may be different political philosophies, perhaps.
Yeah. There you go.
But it's not. As long as you keep things from being just partisan. You're this or that, and therefore you're full of. That doesn't get anywhere. Neither does calling each other names.
No,
it doesn't move. It doesn't move the understanding.
That's no good, calling people. I try not to call people dummies. I really do, but on this show sometimes I can't help it. So I want you to know I try, but I don't always succeed. But with you and me, no, we're good. We're good. And anybody who comes on the show is good unless they start calling me names, and they actually have before. And I just have to hang up on them then. Remember,
I understand. One thing, John, is to remember that calling someone. The problem with words have charges and connotations, and so that's why I try to talk about. I try to use the word ignorance or lack of understanding rather than calling someone a dummy. I think people, it's people who don't do their own research on things, who don't try to educate themselves about things. Those are the people that we have to try to get to come along to help educate them. But once we start calling people dummies or anything like that, that they shut down.
You're right,
and then we're lost.
This is what I preach, and yet I'm guilty of doing it. I'll admit it. I'm not a perfect human being, that's for sure.
No,
but no,
you're frustrating those of us who are perfect, those who think they are. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right about that, and I appreciate your saying that. That's absolutely right. I know that, and I don't always practice it.
Well, I'm not claiming I'm perfect about it all the time either. I mean, I get my dander up once in a while too, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
When I'm trying to be persuasive, I really fight the urge to do that.
Yeah, I know you do, sir. Listen, I appreciate it. We're out of time now. We're actually at the top of the hour, but It's great talking with you as always, and we'll have you back next week. Maybe we'll get some questions. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, a great weekend. I got a 4-day weekend coming up, so hopefully it'll be good for all of us. And go ahead and do your closing line because I love it. I always welcome it.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Be careful out there and be respectful.
Absolutely. Dr. G, you have a great weekend.
You too.
Take care, my friend.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
10 o'clock, Dr. John Garofalo, recently retired PCP and ER doc from Central Maine. And, I do. But you got to understand, you don't have to understand that I do. I get so frustrated with people sometimes because, and I think it comes from I come from the place that I've been called so many names on social media. On my own page, I've been sworn at to the point where I have to delete people, and I don't delete people. I like people of all sides, as is obvious by the fact I had a couple of people who I know well, who I respect, pushing back on me this morning, and there are others pushing back on what the doctor was saying. But that's okay. This is discourse. I mean, there were no names. There was nothing like that. And I appreciate that. I will try to do better. I'm not guaranteeing I will, but I will try. I do want to talk. I do want to have the back and forth. But I'm resolute in my beliefs, and I will not change my beliefs. I can only teach if you will listen what I believe, and hopefully bring some people along the way. I know we already have. I've gotten some emails from people who have been listening for a while and have become understanders of the philosophy of truth and freedom and patriotism and what America is. And I've offered you a bunch of different resources to learn about this, including Hillsdale College, including Prager University, and others. We'll be back. I am running very late. I'm going to be in trouble. Stick around, please. We have a ton of stuff to come. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Being able to spend time with those we love, sharing our stories and memories, is one of the many things to be thankful for this year. But as we visit safely with family and friends this Thanksgiving, remember that it's never a good idea to drink and drive. If you're planning on having a drink, please protect your friends and your community by designating a driver or calling a cab. That way, everyone returns home safely. This message brought to you by Delta Ambulance. Compassion, leadership, excellence. That's Delta Ambulance.
At Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union, they understand that when faced with difficult and challenging times, it's a comfort to know that we'll get through this together. Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union is committed to keeping not only their members safe, but also their dedicated employees. They're following CDC guidelines, protocols, and social distancing at all of their facilities. They may have changed some of their usual ways of doing business, but they haven't changed how they treat their members. Their safest services are available through drive-up, ATM, telephone, easy banking, mobile banking, by phone or appointment. Lobbies are currently open in the Skowhegan and Farmington branches, and with the holidays just around the corner, Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union has a reason to brighten your season with their holiday loan special going on now through December 31st. Just ask any of their friendly and knowledgeable loan officers in Skowhegan, Farmington, Madison, Kingfield, or Stratton for complete details, or online at f-sfcu.com. Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union, where their most important member is you. Member NCUA.
Hi, my name is Tony Esposito from Rockland Ford. This year has been crazy, and this month, so are our deals. Ford has finally started making cars again, so our lot is full and the incentives are high. This month only, you can buy a brand new redesigned Ford Escape for as low as $22,415 or $359 a month with no money down. I repeat, you can buy a brand new Ford Escape at Rockland Ford for as low as $359 a month with no money down. And if a truck is what you need, we got you covered. Rockland Ford just made a special purchase of 35 low-mileage program F-150s, as low as $23,995 or only $359 a month with no money down. This month only, buy a brand new Escape or program F-150 for $359 a month with no money down. Call us while supplies last at Rockland Ford, home of the Rock Bottom Deal, Route 1 in Thomaston.
Payments are for qualified credit for 84 months at 4.5% APR.
Hi, it's Joey Joseph from Colebrook Mitsubishi in Skowhegan. How about a new Mitsubishi today and 0% APR financing? That's right, 0% APR financing. No financing charges for the life of your loan on your new 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander, Eclipse Cross, Outlander Sport, and Mirage models. Come in and see how we can defer your payments for up to 90 days. Get a new Mitsubishi for the holidays and have no payments until February of next year. Plus, take advantage of our $4,000 minimum trade offer. Yep, $4,000, even if it doesn't run, tow it in and you get $4,000. I'd like to thank every one of our customers who have helped make Colebrook the #1 selling Mitsubishi dealer in all of New England for 2020. Worried about credit? Even if you've had some credit mishaps, come find out how we can help. Everyone deserves a newer, nicer ride. Why not choose a small-town dealer with nice and friendly people to do business with? Small-town dealer with big-time discounts. Colebrook Mitsubishi, Route 201 in Skowhegan, or online at colebrookmitsubishi.com.
Sales and service by a family who cares. Whittemore & Sons, Whittemore & Sons.
There are some things you can simply never depend on, like getting your morning coffee just the way you like it every day. I mean, you order it the same way. How is it different today? But know that you can always count on Whittemore & Sons in our line of Coyote tractors. Coyote tractors are machines made to work, whether it's mowing, tilling, digging, lifting, or hauling. Check out the full line of tough and versatile Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, your Coyote tractor dealer, with dependable sales in service for over 50 years. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
From work to fun, we'll help you get it done. Whittemore & Sons. Outdoor power equipment.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Elizabeth Schulze. Another 778,000 Americans filing first-time unemployment claims last week. The Labor Department says that's a jump of 30,000 people from the week before. More than 20 million Americans now getting some sort of unemployment assistance. The warnings coming again and again about gathering around the table this Thanksgiving. Dr. Anthony Fauci telling ABC News that this year getting together with lots of people should be avoided.
When you look at the surges, it is still dominated by larger gatherings, by people who are in indoor places, by bars where people congregate. But when you account for that, there still is transmission among gatherings that appear to be relatively innocent.
But millions of people flying this Thanksgiving anyway. President-elect Joe Biden will deliver a Thanksgiving Day message today. He's expected to say that the nation can and will get through the current crisis together. This is ABC News. With coronavirus cases rising on New York's Staten Island, indoor dining now banned at restaurants. But the owner of Mac's Public House is trying to push back. Keith McElarney declaring his place an autonomous zone that will ignore any rules from New York City's mayor or the governor.
It means that it does mean what that says, but we do have proper safety measures in place.
The day before Thanksgiving turning into a cleanup day in parts of Texas after violent storms overnight.
People here in Dallas-Fort Worth are used to hearing tornado sirens in the spring and summer, but those sirens sounded last night as a line of severe storms moved in. Kobe Bennett was sitting in his apartment in Arlington.
The wind, like 2 seconds, the wind just changed. It got heavy, the window cracked, and I got ready to stand up. The roof just flew off and came in the room on me.
He's one of 70 people displaced by the storm that damaged at least 7 buildings in Arlington. Nobody was seriously hurt. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
I'm Dr. Baker, an ER physician. If you're having leg pain, swelling, or redness, but haven't talked to your doctor yet, don't wait. This could be deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to your lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism. which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. Your symptoms could mean something serious, so don't wait. Talk to a doctor right away, by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's time for a little fun, a few laughs, and a whole lot of truth.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris only represents terrorists and arsonists and people who murder retired cops in St. Louis. I know that the Democrats have turned into the Marxist Party. I know they hate America. They hate the Constitution. And if the Democrats get in charge, we will be a suburb of Venezuela. And I hope everybody out there knows that we, the people, have an absolute moral obligation to vote God, family, country, freedom, Constitution. And if you don't vote those basic principles, the communists and the Marxists would like to thank you.
The John James Show is on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Facebook comment here from Lisa. And I concur with Lisa. Here, let me read it to you. In fact, well, if you're, see if I can do this. Hold on. I try something new for our video streamers here because I have the ability. Do I have the know-how? That remains to be seen. Let me see where the comments are. Okay, I'm going to put Lisa Bonifant's, what she said there on the screen, and I'll read it for the radio listeners and the radio streamers at legacy1160.com, brought to you by Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue, Waterville. The video streams are all brought to you by our friends at Moody's Collision Center, locations throughout Maine. Lisa says it's going to happen. The virus is going to do what it's going to do. It's going to affect certain people more than other people. We are all doing the best we can with masking, with washing your hands, with staying 6 feet apart. I'm so tired of people preaching to us like with 5-year-olds. I'm tired of the shutdowns. If you are at high risk, then stay home. And I will also add, and I think most people are doing it of their own accord, that, hold on, let me take that off the screen now. See if I can do this. Oh, I guess I can't. Oh, isn't that special? Oh, there we go. Okay, good. I did it. If we have people who are high risk in our homes, then I think you darn well better be careful. And remember, I also come from a home of medical professionals. The disconnect is when government gets involved. I don't need government to tell me. They've already told me. The government has told me, and this is their place, in my humble opinion. It is the government's place to give us ways to be cautious, tell us how we should behave to keep people safe. Not by mandating we stay at home. And you got to realize also, at least right now, there are some states that are much more tyrannical, much more Marxist than we are at this point, where Kate Brown, for example, is giving her state the edict that they must report their neighbors if they have too many guests at their house, even though the homeowner, whose property it is, has invited people who can accept or decline the invitation based on the knowledge that we are given by the experts. They can accept or decline the invitation of their own free will. That's where I stand. And I think that's where a majority of people stand. I really think the people that like the government giving edicts on both sides, I really think that they're in the minority. It's 10:15 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Got a ton of stuff to get to. John Cleese. You know who he is, right? Monty Python. Brilliant. Brilliant. Love. Python. Love Monty Python. John Cleese over the weekend has refused to submit to the woke social media mob. And that's where you see a lot of them. They come out of their shell on social media and they lay it on you thick and hard. But the mob came out accusing him of transphobia for an old tweet supporting J.K. Rowling. Or Rowling, I don't know. Pronounce it however you want. I can't remember. I think she pronounces it Rowling. Doesn't matter. So Cleese mocked the accusers. At one point, he jokingly asked if he was allowed to identify as a Cambodian policewoman. Now, come on, I don't care who you are. That's funny. Am I allowed to identify as a Cambodian policewoman if I desire? Now, he's come under fire from the Twitter mob before, and he's defended free speech each and every time. Standing in solidarity with transphobia after a Twitter user reposted one of Cleese's tweets from September. J.K. Rowling, of course, did something that was allegedly transphobic. I can't remember exactly what she said. I don't have that right in front of me here. But he told his followers he signed a letter of solidarity with J.K. Rowling. Transgender activists on the left have directed their outrage at Rowling because of her criticism of transgender political demands for any man who identifies as a woman to be allowed in bathrooms or changing rooms reserved for natural women and girls. And I stand right by that as well. Now, he accused the rage mob of wokery, humorless posturing, and moral self-promotion. Not to mention, let me add, self-righteousness. He said, if you can't control your own emotions, you are forced to control other people's behavior. That's why the touchiest, most oversensitive and easily upset must not set the standard for the rest of us, which is what they try to do. And sadly, and in my opinion, wrongly, they are supported by social media giants, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. John Cleese says, and I concur, why the F can't you just let people be who they want to be? Do you actually think there is some deep conspiracy to turn people against their genders? And he said, he responded, deep down, I want to be a Cambodian policewoman. Is that allowed, or am I being unrealistic? Which I think it's funny. Another demanded that Cleese be upfront with his actual thoughts on Rowling and her position on people and treat them kindly. This is a little disjointed here, what I'm reading from. Right now, quote, right now I am more focused on threats to democracy in America, the rampant corruption in the UK, the appalling British press, the revelations about police brutality, COVID-19, the incompetence of the British government, China's complete disregard for the necessity to abandon fossil fuels, the developments in France between Macron and Islamicists, diabetes, and the recent deaths of several of my close friends. So I don't fully and totally align with Cleese on everything. But when he's right, he's right. He says, I refuse to sympathize with the woke mob. And free speech allows that, unless you try to put it on Twitter or Facebook or other social media. And they will shut you down. It's a very sad day. And anybody who supports the arbitrary stifling of free speech, I think, in my opinion, this is an opinion show, keep that in mind, in my opinion, is very unpatriotic and very un-American. Free speech is not always not hurtful. Not all free speech you disagree with is hate speech. As Whoopi Goldberg once said, in the wrong context, I will use it in the right context here, grow a pair. Now we've got a tyrant coming into the White House, it looks like. There's still hope. I still say there's hope. I stand by my assertion that Joe Biden is still not the president-elect. He is now getting some clearance for his transition. The Trump administration has opened the door for that, and the way I see it, Donald Trump is doing what we call, in case, I don't know if you've heard this term before, Donald Trump is doing the kabuki dance. He's playing along to get along. I think he still has hope for the 2020 election. I still have hope for the 2020 election. This has got to play out. He is not the president-elect, Joe Biden isn't. He is a candidate. Donald Trump is the incumbent, and that's where it stands, simply. AP does not call elections. Fox News does not call elections. Sorry. Sky News. I love these guys. Sky News, United Kingdom news outlet. Speaking of British, and we were talking about John Cleese. The fact that Joe Biden's mental acuity isn't what it once was, not that it was ever that great to begin with. If you've seen any of his past speeches, a lot of plagiarizing in him because apparently he could never really come up with words of his own. The absurdity of Joe Biden's eventual, perhaps, leadership of the free world is not lost on Sky News. This reporter sees it in what the lemmings in America have done in electing President Biden-Harris. And I group them together because Joe Biden is only a placeholder. Again, in my opinion, and I'm not going to say that anymore. You know that. If you listen to this show, you know that. Here is Sky News.
It didn't take long. Here's your so-called president-elect, America, struggling to operate the auto queue.
What the immediate needs are. We're going to employ the Defense Reconstructed Act to be able to go out there and dictate companies build and do following things. We need much more testing. We need much more masking.
Can't wait till he gets hold of the nuclear codes. That should be oodles of fun.
The defense codes. The defense codes. That's on a teleprompter. Joe Biden. And I always have to wonder if he makes it to a State of the Union address, which typically lasts for, a good part of an hour or more. What is that going to be like? That in and of itself could be very telling if they even allow him to do it. Recently, at a press conference featuring Joe Biden, he was stumbling through answers because he can't. He has to have questions asked of him, and the media has been so kind for the most part. They've been so kind. You know, what color are your shoes, Joe? What color is your tie, Joe? You know, unlike they throw rocks, they throw boulders at Donald Trump, but they're very, very easy on Joe Biden. But even so, he could not answer a question coherently. So the next reporter, I think it was Yamichel Sindor, who is a DNC operative from PBS, who I will never support again. Yamichel Sindor requested that the vice president answer the vice president-elect answer her question. Because, well, she might be able to put sentences together and coherent thoughts together better than Joe. Now, people keep saying, well, the election, there's no, and mainstream media. In fact, let me go to mainstream media for a minute. For those of you who never watch anything but MSNBC or CNN or the Alphabet networks on regular television, this is very telling, and this is a fair survey too. Brent Bozell, you know who he is? Brent Bozell is the founder of the Media Research Center, which also encompasses a video outlet called Newsbusters. Mainstream media, according to Brent Bozell and MRC, did enough damage by negatively reporting and lack of reporting to throw the election to Joe Biden. And I know for a fact that this is true. I know. How do I know? I do exhaustive research of all the networks. They just simply, in many cases regarding Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and the laptop and everything else surrounding Joe Biden's corruption, they conveniently did not say a word. Proof. They refused to give airtime to important arguments of the Republican campaign, whether they be pro-Trump or anti-Biden. And to measure the true effect of the censorship, MRC asked the polling company, that's the name of the group, the polling company, to survey upwards of 1,700 people, Biden voters, all Biden voters, in 7 swing states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. 6 of which, all but North Carolina, were called for Biden. Now, these voters were tested on knowledge of 8 news stories, very important topics. A huge majority, listen to this, 82% of viewers of CNN and MSNBC and all the rest, 82% of Biden voters were unaware of at least one of these key items, with 5% saying they were unaware of all 8 of the issues. Now, let's break this down just a little bit here. Hunter Biden's sexual assault, Joe Biden's sexual assault allegations. And I guess that includes all of them. Certainly, it includes the Tara Reade allegation of rape. Was that covered at all by MSNBC or CNN? No. Interestingly, no. Everything that they even suspect, whether it's Stormy Daniels or the Billy Bush bus or you name it, everything even rumored about President Trump was covered exhaustively by these networks. The alleged rape of Tara Reade by Joe Biden? Crickets. In fact, over 35% of Biden voters were unaware of any Joe Biden sexual allegations. 35%. The Hunter Biden scandals, 45%. 40, almost half of Democrats had never heard of Tony Bobulinski and the corrupt China deals with Joe and Hunter Biden. Tony Bobulinski had audio tape. Did you know that? Did you know there was actually audio tape and there was proof on Hunter Biden's hard drive that oh, by the way, Hunter Biden took a computer to a computer store, never picked it up, and it was rightfully assumed by the store owner who shared the hard drive with Rudy Giuliani in the New York Post. New York Post covered it. Nobody else did. In fact, the New York Times shot the story down like it was an enemy of the state. And it's all on a hard drive, including potential pedophilia by Hunter Biden, including uncomfortable showers with Ashley Biden and her dad, Joe, in her diary that was discovered. On the hard drive, not making it up. It's out there. You got to look for it, but it's out there. It was made public. Not one of these networks, NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, and Chuck Todd, or CBS, not one of them asked to see the contents of the hard drive, which were offered to them because they are not journalists. True. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about it. All true. So, mainstream media did its part in getting rid of Trump because that's what they wanted. The media is not, it's not news. It is, I've told you this for a year, and it's just been getting worse. They are not news, they are propaganda outlets. Period. Plain and simple. I look at them all. The closest thing to right-wing news, all right-wing news that you get is Newsmax right now. And I'm not going to lie about that. They are very right-wing. Fox News isn't even that right-wing. The commentators are. Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, they are. But they're supposed to be. They, like me, are commentators. 1034. Legacy 1160 WSKW 621-9759 207-621-9759. We've got a piece you've got to hear. We have got a piece you have got to hear. If you're a freedom-loving, God-fearing, gun-owning American, you have got to hear Tucker Carlson's open last night if you haven't. If you saw it last night, you probably want to hear it again. It is alarming. It's chilling, actually. Stick around. It's coming right up. I'm John James.
AM 1160, WSKW.
What a fantastic time to shop for fall items at Townline Antiques, where you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. Townline Antiques has vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and so much more. And if you haven't been recently, there are new booths and a lot of new items, including a full booth of Christmas goodies for anyone who wants to spread some early cheer. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5 on Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
Do you have itchy, irritated, or burning eyes? Then you're just like 16 million other Americans who suffer from dry eye syndrome. But there is a way to find a solution to the issue. Contact Kennebec Eye Care and schedule an exam. There are many reasons people experience dry eye: medications, systemic diseases, birth control, CPAP machines, and more. And an exam with Kennebec Eye Care will identify what's causing it and how to best treat it. Schedule an appointment today by calling 872-2797. Kennebec Eye Care, your site specialist, 216 Main Street in Waterville, and online at KennebecEyeCare.com.
Hi, it's Doug and Dan from Generators of Maine in Belgrade.
Are you working from home? Will your children be home doing schoolwork? And you know how important it is to have access to the reliable power source.
That's why you need a Kohler generator from Generators of Maine. Kohler generators deliver reliable power whenever yours goes out, and we're always happy to offer delivery and installation.
Get prepared today for those upcoming power outages with a Kohler generator from Generators of Maine. Stop by our location in Belgrade, visit online at generatorsofmaine.com, and like us on Facebook.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Light snow showers this morning. Many areas could see a light coating of snow. We'll see highs in the mid-30s inland to the low 40s at the coast. Will be a rainy Thanksgiving with some freezing rain possible inland during the morning. Highs in the mid-30s inland to the mid-40s at the coast. Mostly cloudy near 50 Friday, partly to mostly sunny for the weekend.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Hey, welcome back. 1037, Legacy 1160 WSKW. Freedom's Pep Rally is here. You follow me personally, if you want to, at Freedom's Pep Rally on Facebook. And, of course, we're streaming all over the place this morning. Right America Media. We're on American Women Who Bear Arms. Of course, at Legacy 1160, all those Facebook pages. And we are on YouTube and at legacy1160.com. Just click on the video link there, brought to you by Moody's Collision Centers. And our live audio stream is there 24/7. Unlike the video stream, which is here 6 to noon, the audio stream is there 24/7 with all your favorite old songs at legacy1160.com. So Tucker Carlson, if you haven't heard this, you really need to hear it. Now, last night, Tucker did an open that every patriotic, freedom-loving American, which is about half, need to hear or should hear. And those who are on the Biden side of things, and I understand there are a lot of people who voted for Joe Biden because he's a Democrat. I get that. I understand that. Thinking, oh, he's a moderate Democrat. He's safe. He's not. Now, in his open, he previews what might happen under a Joe Biden-Kamala Harris administration, or flip that if you want, a Harris-Biden administration, once they and the people they're surrounding themselves with get power. Nothing short of chilling. While the lame brains in mainstream media, who are nothing close to journalists and other mental midgets like the leftists on The View, are gushing, literally gushing over Joe Biden. And in fact, here's an example. Here's an example from The View.
I realize I've been in a rage for 4 years.
You're just realizing
we
this
came
now?
this close. We basically came this close to a dictatorship. I don't think people really get that 100%. I'm happy to get rid of people like Stephen Miller and the rest of the cast of The Lord of the Flies. I'm happy to have John Kerry dealing with climate. You know, climate change is one of the things. When I was a kid, I used to worry about nuclear war all the time because when I was young, they made us hide under the desk. And I used to say, well, why would I bring my library books back when we're all going to die in a nuclear war? And that basically describes my childhood.
Yeah, right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Right.
I know. But now as I grew up and as I grow up and have children and a grandson, I worry about climate change. That when I die, that child is going to have to deal with fires and floods and what have you.
Oh my word. Hey, you hear Whoopi Goldberg in the background there too. So, fires and floods and what have you. Boy, Joy Behar, she's a bright one, isn't she? Sounds like she's lived in fear her whole life. That's sad. Tucker Carlson is much smarter than that mook. Tucker paints a picture of the potential incoming administration that's grim by true American standards, but welcome by the radical leftists, who are actually literally becoming a scourge in the country, where free speech is not allowed. If it's conservative free speech, they can say anything they want, and they've got a social media that backs them up wholeheartedly. Listen in particular now to this part. This is kind of lengthy, but it all needs to be heard. Listen particularly to the part where Tucker starts talking about guns, our guns, that the government wants to take. The government doesn't want to take your guns. Oh, yeah? Believe me, we watch this a lot closer than you leftists who hate guns. Now, I'm not saying all people on the left hate guns. You are, by proxy, if you're a Democrat, you are, until you prove otherwise, sadly, until you prove you're not one of them, you are part of the leftist mob. Maybe you proudly identify with them. Well, then you hate guns. You hate guns and you don't like the Second Amendment and you want us all to be disarmed. Admit it. Just admit it. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Although they're going to try. And it gets very scary because some people are so afraid they will willingly cave and give them up. Now, I know for a fact many Democrats as well as Republicans aren't going to want any of this, aren't going to want to hear this. But if you voted for Biden, you voted for not a moderate, but a progressive socialist. You are known by those you hang out with. You've got to hear this. Here is Tucker Carlson. And again, this is lengthy, but it is good. And I would be committing malpractice if I did not let you hear this laid out in such a perfect way.
So here's a question for you. What does Joe Biden believe? What are his plans for our country? Well, it's hard to comprehend this, but the truth is we still don't know the answers to those most basic questions. We don't. Somehow, Joe Biden made it through an entire presidential campaign, most of a year, without telling us. A partisan press corps let him get away with it. That may be the single most dishonest thing that has ever happened in American politics. If you're looking for election rigging, there you go. Tens of millions of people voted for a candidate who wasn't real. They voted for a ghost with a whitened smile. They had no idea who this man was. They had no idea who they were voting for or what he might do if he got elected. But at the urging of the media, they voted for him anyway. And so now the rest of us get to find out what they voted for. Joe Biden has started to assemble his cabinet. So we're going to go by his choices to let us know what we can expect. And what is emerging so far as of tonight looks a lot like the HR department at a large left-wing multinational. Heaps of woke authoritarian social policy mixed with a corporatist economic agenda. So the rest of us will get stern lectures about our moral failings, those never end, while a small group of highly connected people will get even richer. Does that sound familiar to you? If Jeff Bezos and the Google guys took over the entire US government, and effectively they have, this is what it would look like. Steve Ricchetti is the archetype for the new Biden aides. He's now one of Joe Biden's closest advisors. Ricchetti has spent years as a lobbyist. He's representing companies like General Motors, AT&T, GlaxoSmithKline, Eli Lilly, Nextel, Novartis, Pfizer, all the big pharma companies. Ricchetti is one of the people who helped lead the alignment of big business squarely behind the Joe Biden for President campaign. And he was the perfect man to do it because he shares their goals and their worldview, particularly on the central question of China. 20 years ago, Steve Ricchetti was the deputy chief of staff to Bill Clinton. And in that role, he helped lead the effort to allow China into the World Trade Organization. That turned out to be not a small thing at all. His lobbying worked. The result, in the end, was one of the greatest disasters ever to befall this country in peacetime. One study by the Economic Policy Institute, and there are others, but this one found that thanks to that decision to let China into the WTO, the United States lost nearly 3.5 million good-paying jobs. And the effects of that have rippled through the generations. If you're wondering why there's a fentanyl epidemic in Middle America, if you're wondering why the life expectancy for American-born middle-class Americans is in decline, that's a big part of the reason. This one found millions of men lost their jobs, decision to let China, and an entire society collapsed. If you live inward from the coasts, you've seen it firsthand. Steve Ricchetti was one of the people behind that, not the only one, but one of the key people. He wasn't punished for it. In fact, he's been promoted. Joe Biden wants more of it. Biden also wants less dissent from the population. Biden knows what we all know, which is that an armed society is an independent society. He's not for that. And that's why he's hired Congressman Cedric Richmond as a senior advisor. Richmond plans to disarm law-abiding Americans, not criminals. People who commit gun crimes are now being let out of jail. But law-abiding Americans, people who've done nothing wrong, who've tried in good faith to protect themselves and their family, they will be punished. That's not speculation, by the way. Richmond has said so on television. Here he is on CNN last year.
If it is a buyback, then I'm all for it. If it's a mandatory buyback, I think that you may run into some complications, but the thought of it does not offend me, and it sounds like something I could support.
So gun control didn't play a large role in our debates coming up to the election. There was almost no discussion about issues for 6 months. But it's becoming clear that preventing Americans from defending themselves and their families is a big part of the Biden agenda. And that's part of the reason he picked campaign manager Jennifer O'Malley Dillon to be his deputy chief of staff. At a time when a record number of Americans have purchased legal firearms to protect themselves from skyrocketing crime, Dillon has called for this confiscation of more than 10 million legally owned firearms. Again, we're not making that up. It's not propaganda. Here she is saying it herself.
But a plan that supports, bless you, mandatory buybacks of weapons of war. An assault weapon ban is very, very important, and we need to have it. But that only takes weapons of war off the streets in the future. It does nothing for weapons of war that are currently out there. And I think there's 15 or 16 million.
I think there's 15 or 16 million. She doesn't know the number. She doesn't know anything. Imagine what she knows about firearms or about anything else. Probably about zero. What end does the bullet come out of? She doesn't know. But it doesn't matter. She plans to seize them anyway. Mandatory buybacks are seizure, taking private property by force. Not because the people who own those firearms have done anything wrong. They haven't. Jennifer O'Malley Dillon just doesn't think you should be allowed to have them. So what's that going to look like? What's it going to look like when the Biden administration tries to disarm law-abiding Americans? Apparently, we'll find out. We do know the entire country could look very different very soon. Alejandro Mayorkas will make certain of that. Biden has chosen him to run the Department of Homeland Security. Now, the Department of Homeland Security, if you're old enough, you will remember, was created almost 20 years ago in the wake of the 9/11 attacks, and it had just one purpose: protect the country. Mayorkas has a different plan for DHS, though. He plans to use the agency to radically increase the amount of immigration from the third world into America, because America doesn't have enough going on right now. We just don't have enough problems. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. In an interview a few years ago on PBS, Mayorkas called for amnesty, legal amnesty, for anyone who arrived in the United States illegally under the age of 31, regardless of how old they are now. Think about that. How many people would that include? Well, probably tens of millions. Watch.
So what else would you look for?
Perhaps a greater population of individuals who would qualify in terms of their age. So one of the limitations on DACA was one had to be under the age of 31 at the time of application, even though one might have been brought to the United States as a 2-year-old decades ago. And so really the determinative factor should be how old was one when one came to the United States, as opposed to how old one is now.
But you could see it being, you'd like to see it expanded.
I would.
Yeah, I would. Guys like that, and Barack Obama is a perfect example, are the opposite of Donald Trump. No matter what Trump says, he could be reading the phone book. He could be reading the lyrics to the birthday song, and it always sounds raw, big, loud, jarring. But people like that, the actual radicals, people are saying things that are completely out of the mainstream. And you can check the polling. That's not speculation. That view is not a majority view. It's the view of a tiny group of radicals. But people like that say those things in the calmest tone, like it's totally natural. Of course, yeah, not a big deal. It is a big deal. If Mayorkas gets his way, this will be a different country overnight with very different politics. And of course, different politics are the entire point. So that's a snapshot of domestic policy as it's shaping up under the Biden administration. How about foreign policy? Well, Joe Biden says he's nominating a man called Anthony Blinken, Tony Blinken, to be Secretary of State. It's the head of our foreign policy. Blinken is the co-founder of a so-called strategic consulting group known as Westech Advisors. We know that Westech has represented Silicon Valley firms and pharma companies. But because technically it's not a lobbying operation, we don't know that much more. Westech is not legally required to disclose where they're getting their money. We do believe Eric Schmidt of Google, at least reportedly, was a client of Westech, and that tells you a lot. Blinken himself has written op-eds for the New York Times. He's been a global affairs analyst at CNN, and that tells you a lot. Like everyone else on that channel, Blinken fell hard for the ludicrous Russia collusion line. Watch.
Every time the president tears down the FBI or Mueller or any of our institutions, he's actually doing Mr. Putin's bidding. It's exactly what Putin was trying to do in our elections. That is, sow doubt about the credibility and legitimacy of our institutions. The president's ongoing collusion with Russia's plans is really striking, intentional or not.
So when you criticize the FBI, that's not your First Amendment right as an American. No, you're, quote, doing Mr. Putin's bidding. It's all part of, quote, the president's ongoing collusion with Russia. Now, Tony Blinken is the best we produce. There's not a credential that he doesn't have. He went to Harvard, unlike you. But as with so many people with those credentials, he's not a genius. And you can tell that by his position on the invasion of Iraq. Here is Blinken during the Obama administration celebrating our occupation of that country like it's been a roaring success.
The wisdom of going to war in Iraq is something that is going to be debated for years, and I'll leave that debate to the historians. But what's beyond debate, and what news coverage of Iraq, in my judgment, too often fails to acknowledge, is that Iraq today is less violent, more democratic, and more prosperous, and the United States more deeply engaged there than at any time in recent history.
Yeah, Iraq's in great shape. Good point, Tony Blinken. You seem like a pretty smart guy. You should be Secretary of State. And so under Joe Biden, he will be. Not impressive. But what does it all add up to? It's starting to look like the opposite, the mirror image of what Donald Trump ran on in 2016. Policies that were so popular, Trump got elected on them, despite having no background in politics whatsoever, coming completely from the outside, and rattling people a little bit. And he still got elected because those policies were popular, and they remain popular. But Biden apparently is about to give us the opposite. More giveaways to our chief global rival, the government of China. More pointless wars in the Middle East that no one outside Washington supports. Massive increases in illegal immigration, along with a huge drop in American wages that always is the inevitable result of that. When you flood the low-end labor pool, the price of labor goes down. That's called supply and demand, geniuses, but they don't care. And then, of course, the attendant chaos and instability at home, which they have stoked for months now. Fewer Americans able to defend themselves and their families in the face of that chaos, which they caused. And above all, and this is the defining characteristic so far, more corporate control over our lives. This is the point. This is the theme. Let's hope we're wrong, but as of tonight, it looks like this is what we're staring down. If you believe the federal government is powerful now, in some cases too powerful, wait until it fully aligns with big business.
Wow. They're the first ones to malign big business, but that's who supports them. That's who enables them. Tucker Carlson, great open last night. Was the part about guns not chilling? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's not too early to start asking yourself, because you got to be ready. A couple of good comments here from Doug I want to read. I put them up on the screen if you're watching, if you caught them online, but he had a couple of great comments. I want to... Okay, well, this is very succinct. When you have to worry about hiding your guns, it's time to start using them. And he also said, this nation can be divided on some things, but gun control is something that there should be no compromise on. We have compromised too much already. Amen. State-run concealed carry permit is paying the government for a right you already have. But the minute we lose guns, it's game over. And it is. We the people do not get unified. If we the people do not get unified, we are going to be the unarmed peasants. And sadly, we have people in our citizenry who want just that. Because they worry. You know why? Because the tyrannical government has caused many of them to worry unnecessarily. And the problems we have with guns are problems they have created. It's inarguable. They create problems and then they try to solve them by putting more rules on law-abiding people. They let gun thugs out of prison. They allow the borders to be crossed without any policing. And they love it. The MS-13 gangs in Chicago and across the United States, shooting people on a daily and weekly basis. Chicago is a literal hellhole when it comes to shooting. Innocent victims caught in crossfire of gang violence, MS-13 gang members, many, maybe most of whom are here illegally, who Lori Lightfoot, the deplorable, god-awful mayor of Chicago, fully supports defunding DHS, defunding ICE, and allowing the illegals to stay there while she screams for more gun control on law-abiding citizens. Isn't that special? Meanwhile, the far leftist progressives who hate guns are more than willing to believe that it's because the law-abiding citizens own guns. We've got to take them away. They shouldn't have weapons of war. Shut up and get a clue. Learn what you're talking about. Don't be an ignorant Kool-Aid drinking lemming your whole life. Become an American. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I implore you. I just missed a break. Isn't that special? All right. We'll be back after the top of the hour. News. We've got news here. And no, I guess I absolutely lost a break. Well, my bad. Take it out of my minuscule paycheck. 11 o'clock, I'm John James.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. The number of new unemployment claims is headed in the wrong direction. ABC's Aaron Katursky has a look.
778,000 people filed new claims for unemployment benefits last week, firming up a reversal in trend that began earlier this month. Even as the stock market rebounds, the surge in coronavirus is hurting the job market. There are more than 20 million Americans claiming unemployment benefits from government programs. The fear is the already increasing caseload could get worse as people travel and gather to celebrate Thanksgiving.
The economy is something that President-elect Joe Biden will have to tackle right off the bat. He'll begin getting national security briefings starting today, now that the General Services Administration has cleared the way for the transition. Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's still concerned about the number of Americans traveling for Thanksgiving, especially asymptomatic carriers of coronavirus spreading it unknowingly. Another day of record COVID cases and deaths. Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Montana, and Idaho are seeing the most positive tests. This is ABC News. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, is opening up about an intensely personal and painful moment from earlier this year. She's revealed in a New York Times op-ed that she suffered a miscarriage in July. Here's ABC's James Longman.
She talks about when she was holding her son Archie, she felt a sharp cramp and she realized that she was losing her unborn child. She says, I knew as I clutched my firstborn child that I was losing my second. Hours later, I lay in a hospital bed holding my husband's hand. I felt the clamminess of his palm and kissed his knuckles, wet from both our tears. I tried to imagine how we'd heal.
Markle goes on to write that as we prepare for Thanksgiving separated from loved ones, quote, let us commit to asking others, are you okay? At a key milestone in the restoration of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Crews have removed all of the old roof scaffolding damaged in the fire last year that destroyed the cathedral's iconic spire. 200 tons of scaffolding had to be taken down amid fears that it could cause even more of a collapse. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The holidays are alive and well with farm fresh Christmas trees now at the Home Depot and online at homedepot.com. Choose from a variety of trees specially selected for your region. Pick one out from our tree line or get free delivery when you order online. Either way, you can't pick a better way to let the holidays begin. Holiday decorating improved. Farm fresh Christmas trees to pick up or delivered free from homedepot.com. How doers get more done. Selection and price vary by store. See store for details.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
You're listening to Freedom's Pep Rally on Legacy 1160, where Black voices matter.
Let me be clear. The hearing today is not about white nationalism or hate crimes. It's about fear-mongering, power, and control. It's a preview of the Democrat 2020 election strategy, same as the Democrat 2016 election strategy.
And I'm going to make a video about the NFL players saying the stupidest stuff that I've ever seen. But they're in the video saying, I'm Michael Brown. I'm Philando Castile. I'm Breonna Taylor. Are you really? You live in a multi-million-dollar house. You making millions of dollars. You're making people's whole salary in one football game. Are you really like Breonna Taylor?
Black Lives Matter and the Democratic leadership.
Mike Violet and I will be off tomorrow and Friday, both back Monday, Lord willing. One of the voices you heard there was Candace Owens. Great American. But she can't be black because she is conservative. You talk about racist. You want to talk about racist? People who say things like that, people like Joe Biden, they're the racists. Donald Trump is no racist. Candace Owens is no Uncle Tom. Neither are the Hodge twins. Neither is Leo Terrell. They're just people who have a different opinion, but they're disowned. They're disowned as turncoats by their own brothers and sisters because they don't have the same political ideology. It's pathetic. YouTube thinks there's only one YouTube. Pretty big company, right? Hi to West Solon. I'm getting the comments from a YouTube on this platform too. That's good. Wear my Sam Lifer hat. This is my Sam hat. It's not my Lifer hat, but it is my Sam. One of my Sam hats, my pink one. I love pink. YouTube thinks there's only one acceptable narrative on gender and sexuality, and that would be the leftist view. And if you don't agree with it, you're engaging in hate speech because you cannot have a differing opinion anymore in this country, apparently. That's what our men and women who are in the armed services, this is why they offer up their lives. You talk about disrespecting a life. Don't say you stand with our veterans if you don't stand for the Constitution. Don't say it because you're disingenuous. You are lying to yourself and others. If you don't agree with gun rights, the Second Amendment, don't say you stand with veterans. You do not. You are disingenuous and you are lying to yourself and others. Don't say it because you are a phony if you do. What are our armed men and women fighting for if not for our constitutional liberty? Think about that. Go ahead. Think about that. Don't go interpreting the Constitution the way the people on the left say you should interpret the Constitution. The Constitution is pretty clear. I challenge you to go to Hillsdale College, take the free Constitution course. Go to Prager University, download the free videos. See what it really means to be a Constitution-believing American. I don't care about interpretation. Interpretations mean nothing to me. What is written in the Constitution, what has been interpreted, is what means everything to me. Gun rights, Second Amendment, was decided by Heller versus D.C. Hillary Clinton says they got it wrong, that the individual has the right to bear arms. Now Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their band of merry communists are going to come in and relitigate it all. How will they do it? Well, I don't know. Let's see. They'll stack the Supreme Court. They'll get rid of the Electoral College. They'll engage in voter fraud. What else will they do? What else will they do to dismember the Constitution of the United States of America? They don't like it. They don't like the Constitution. There should be an apology tour starting any time now. As soon as Joe Biden really does become the president-elect, they'll start dismantling the Constitution and go on an apology tour. So YouTube has, in all of its, I guess, God-given rights. This has got to be taken. This should have some government oversight, these social media sites, because they are now the main outlets for people and their news consumption. They are. More people get their news from Facebook than any other news outlet. They need some government oversight. They can't just arbitrarily, or they shouldn't be able to arbitrarily delete things they themselves don't agree with because they aren't leftist enough. Well, YouTube deleted 2 gender-focused episodes of PragerU's Candace Owens show. She discussed gender and sexuality topics, such as the biology of sex and the use of gender pronouns, during one of her podcasts. YouTube removed the episodes because they violated the company's hate speech policy. Candace Owens, nicest person in the world. The first episode they removed included an interview with Daily Wire commentator Michael Knowles, defending traditional gender differences. Oh my gosh! Not men and women, boys and girls. You can't do that. It's so much more now. Now? What has changed? What has changed? YouTube also deleted their 16-month-old interview because, according to Candace Owen, I mentioned in our conversation, are you ready for this? Mentioned in the conversation was this fact: men are not women. That is now hate speech. Did you know that? Men are not women is hate speech. Owen said, I honestly cannot believe how absolutely batch woke you have to be to believe basic truth to be hate speech. Yes, I said batch. I didn't say the word, but that's what she said. And I agree with her. Truth. I don't care about your feelings. I'm sorry. The truth hurts. It does hurt feelings. And I know if it doesn't make you feel good, it cannot be said in America anymore.
Nothing more than feeling.
That's wrong. I'm sorry. You're wrong. I don't care about your opinion. If you disagree with that, you're wrong. You're all about science until science doesn't agree with your narrative, right? You worship science until it doesn't agree with your narrative, and then it's hate speech. I hope some people are literally, really, and truly waking up. I hope. I know that's a lot to hope for. But I do have hope that maybe somebody somewhere is saying, you know, this loudmouth on the radio, on my radio, is right. It's true. There's men and there's women. Then there are men that want to be women, women that want to be men. Have at it. Don't infringe on my rights. I won't infringe on yours. And if you're a man who wants to be a woman, or a woman who wants to be a man, and you're a woman who wants to be a man who wants to come in and pee next to me, well, that's infringing on my rights. Sorry, science. If you're a transgender woman, a transgender teenager, who wants to exercise her God-given right to race against my daughter in track and field? Sorry, your right ends right there. Because science, sorry, just using the narrative that gets thrown at us every time we bring up junk science like man-made climate change is going to kill us in 11 years. That's junk science. That's not provable. In fact, that has been disproven by many. Sorry, science. Oh, it's selective science. I see. I see how that goes. 11:16. So Candace Owens is engaging in hate speech by saying men can't be women. That's too bad, isn't it? Kind of sad where we are, but that's where we are. Anybody? You want to debate me on this? Bring it. I got phone lines right now. I'm watching the phone lines. 6219759, 207-6219759, 207-621-9759. Go ahead. Waiting. That's what I thought. Easy on Facebook, isn't it? Easy on Twitter. You don't have to argue. You can just run away. You can just say you're an effing crazy MF and just leave. Doesn't take many brains to do that. Come on, make your case verbally without having to sit and think about it behind a keyboard. I'll let you talk. I will let you talk. I'm not going to say I'm not going to push back after you talk. You want to engage in an argument? Go ahead. I'll engage in an argument. If you just want the forum to say what you want to before I respond, I'll give you that for a period until I can't take it anymore. But give me a chance. You're going to push back? Push back. I've given you the forum. 11:17. Legacy 1160 WSKW. Nobody can defend themselves. They cannot defend themselves. How can you defend yourself when you've got me on the radio saying what is constitutionally and scientifically correct? How are you going to argue that? Are you going to rewrite the Constitution as you speak? Can you defend rewriting the Constitution, telling me what it means as you speak? Can you do that? Bring it. Hi, good morning. You're on with John.
Hi, this is Angela. How are you?
Angela, good. How are you?
Good. Listen, the only thing I can say about the whole gender thing is that growing up with a dad that's a doctor, a pediatrician, he said that oddly enough, or which is truth, is some people are born with both parts.
Oh, so yeah, they're right.
Give everyone is sort of a break.
Yes. Okay. There is a mutation. Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everyone
okay.
sort of just goes with what they love, and love is the only thing that really matters. So if someone's law-abiding and they're just running with their, they have freedom of speech, then everyone has a right to do whatever they want, right?
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you.
So that's it. I just wanted to say that because, what the news is trying to do is basically divide us, distract us, cause controversy, and instill fear. So as bigger than them, we then accept everyone who's law-abiding and loving.
Yeah, I agree. Now, okay, let me throw this by you.
Okay.
Law-abiding, loving, and constitutional abiding and all that. I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely.
So does it not infringe on my rights or my daughter's rights if she is running in a race and this is real? This is really going on across the country, and Joe Biden wants to expand it. By the way, Joe Biden's all in favor of this, allowing transgender girls who once identified No, they were boys. They now identify as girls to run against my daughter in a track race at school.
Well, then that's something that each jurisdiction has to deal with. Kind of like Maine right now has to stand up for Maine. We can't worry about COVID cases in other states or COVID deaths in other states. We have to stick right here in Maine and worry about the truth and the facts, and then stick with our community to make it work for us. So if that's going on in a school nearby, then we want to address that issue.
In my mind, there's only one way to address it, and that's no, that doesn't happen. That is an infringement on my rights.
Right, but every situation is different, because I have to say, if someone was born a woman and then I don't know. I just think that every single person has a right to be heard, and every case is special.
Okay.
So,
all right.
As a person who runs a nonprofit that's colorblind, nonpartisan, pro-personal choice, and secular, we just basically want to give everyone a free speech to talk about the issues without a lot of opinions, right?
Okay, there you go.
All right.
There you go. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't push heads. I didn't.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Communication. We love you, John.
Thank you,
and
Angela.
My name is Angela Einstein. Our nonprofit is A. Einstein Universe. We're here to protect home family community resources from internet-seeded fraud, where police have no jurisdiction. So that's where the missing link is, okay?
All right, Angela, thank you. Have a great day and have a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. 1121 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. So, I don't think we completely agreed there, but that's okay. To me, it comes down to rights. It comes down to constitutional rights. And it's a pretty easy test. It really is. It's a pretty easy test to ask yourself, is this person infringing on my constitutional rights? So, for example, if I go to church and a transgendered woman and a transgendered man come in and sit down in the seats or pew, whatever you have in your church, next to me, are they infringing on my rights? That would be a big no. No. If they insist the church marry them, and it's against the religious teachings of the church, and the church says, no, we aren't going to marry you, and they insist that you will marry us or we'll go to court, are they infringing on the church's constitutional rights? That's a big yes. It's a pretty easy test because we have religious freedom and we have individual freedom. Right? Is that so hard? The test is easy. It really is. It's really easy if you look at it objectively and you use common sense and not feelings. Again, I don't care if your feelings are hurt. If I am using my right to keep you from infringing on mine, I don't care how much it hurts you. If I disagree with something, if I want to talk about how I feel about transgenders, I'm not going to say how I feel about transgenders. I'm not going to do it because live and let live, right? You don't infringe on my rights. I don't infringe on yours. But if I want to go on, you know that I feel there are two sexes. There are two sexes. There are two genders. Oh, they aren't interchangeable. Gender and sex are different. Well, not where I'm from. Not where I grew up. Gender and sex were pretty interchangeable. Oh, the definition is probably changed now. Somebody like Maisie Hirono opens her loud mouth and Merriam-Webster will immediately change the definition. I do not care much about how the definitions change. The fact of the matter is there are two sexes. There are two genders. There's male, there's female. I do believe in the Bible. I do believe in God. I do believe in Adam and Eve. And I don't believe there was Adam, Eve, and two other people who identified as woman and one. No, there were two in the Garden of Eden. There were male and there were female. God created man, God created woman. That's where I leave it. And I'm sorry, times change, people change, societies change. God does not and has never changed. And I don't mean to come off as a preacher here, but if you believe in God, if you truly believe in the Bible and don't believe it changes every time the Pope says, well, we're going to make allowances. Apparently now atheists can go to heaven. Did you know that? That's what the Pope said. Atheists can go to heaven. Well, that's not what I was taught. That's not what biblical teachings say. How can a man, a human, an imperfect being, rewrite what the Creator said? I don't buy it, nor will I ever. That's just me. Same as I believe abortion is murder. Killing a fetus is killing a human being, and it's allowed by leftist ideology. It's allowed, it's welcome, it's bragged about, it's celebrated, it's sick. It's part of the moral decay of American society, in my humble opinion. There you go. I don't want you to wonder where I stand. I'm not a mean person. I get along with anybody. Just don't try to push these beliefs on me if you have them. Just don't, because you're going to get an earful. Hey, I can talk for 3 hours. You don't think I can have a conversation with somebody who disagrees? I certainly can. 621-9759, 207-621-9759. That is the phone line. You can also text us at 441-6969. Would love to hear from you. I would. Again, I don't care what side of the tracks you're on. Expect you might get some pushback, but I will let you speak. That's one thing I'm good. I am a good listener. I truly am. Try me. We'll be right back.
WSKW, AM 1160.
What a fantastic time to shop for fall items at Townline Antiques, where you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. Townline Antiques carries vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and so much more. If you haven't been recently, there are new booths and lots of new items, including a full booth of Christmas goodies for anyone who wants to spread some early cheer. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
Hi, I'm Teresa Smith, Director of Advising at Kennebec Valley Community College. For the past 25 years, it has been my privilege to help people just like you reach your educational goals. Whether you're a high school student just getting started, a parent who's always had to put your family first, or a worker looking for new skills, KVCC has something for you. And trust me, it's never too late to get started. Give me a call at 453-KVCC, and together, let's see what we can do.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff here from K-Tronics, your local TV expert, and I want to tell you about Dish TV. If technology, value, and customer satisfaction are important to you, then it's time to cut the cable cord once and for all. Upgrade your TV experience and start saving with Dish today. Drop by K-Tronics at 57 Main Street in Madison. Call 207-696-3200 or visit us on the web at ktronicsmain.com. We are K-Tronics, your locally owned, operated, and trusted satellite TV experts.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Light snow showers this morning. Many areas could see a light coating of snow. We'll see highs in the mid-30s inland to the low 40s at the coast. Will be a rainy Thanksgiving with some freezing rain possible inland during the morning. Highs in the mid-30s inland to the mid-40s at the coast. Mostly cloudy near 50 Friday, partly to mostly sunny for the weekend.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Welcome. 621-9759, 207-441-6969. Whoops. How'd we get 2 of those? Hi, good morning. You're on with John. Are you here? Apparently not. Was that Megan? We had 3 callers going there. Apparently Megan was trying to call. I just got that. Sometimes it's best to post on Facebook. Not that I always check the messaging, but I try to. Let's see. Eleni from Florida. My best friend Tony is trans, and he knows how I feel about it, but I still love him and support him because we have been friends since middle school. He isn't pushing it down anyone's throat, respects others' views. He is a good guy, even if he wants to put on makeup and a push-up bra. I'm sorry, the imagery caught me there, Eleni, but absolutely. I mean, people are still people, no matter what they want to be. And I'm not going to push back against that. Who am I to tell anybody what they can identify as? I don't care if you identify as a horse. Just don't ask me to ride ya. Right? I mean, seriously. I might, if you identify as a horse or a cow or some other animal, I might question your sanity. But, you know, beyond that, I mean, be whatever you want to be. Again, just don't. People get it. People don't understand what the difference is between accepting somebody for what they are and not wanting their rights to be infringed upon. I see you there, Megan. Hold on a minute. I don't care. I really don't. Now, the way I was brought up, if I see an obvious man, a 6'4" bearded man in a dress and high heels, I'm sorry. I'm going to do probably 2 or 3 glances. I can't help it. Just like, sadly, much to my own chagrin, I cannot do double, triple, quadruple takes at a beautiful woman. I can't not do it. I can't. That's me. That's who I am. Accept me for who I am. If you don't want me to look at your beauty, wear burlap clothes and put a bag over your head, I guess. I can't help it. Women think, why are you looking at me like that? I had a woman call up one time here on this show and said, she asked me, I see on your page that you are the CEO of American Women Who Bear Arms. Who gave you that title? And I said, well, it's my business. I said, it's not that it's my business. It's my business. Roger Parmerlow, a local businessman, and I have that. We own that Facebook page, that site, the website, abba.com. Well, did you know that why do you leer at women? Why do you leer? Said, I didn't know I did leer, but I guess I do. Actually, you call me out on it, I guess I do. I do. I don't know why. Nature. I don't do anything. I just look. Why do you look at me? I don't know. Why do men want to be women? Why do women want to be men? Why does anybody do anything? Maybe they can't help it. I get that. In fact, I don't like the word leer either, but if this woman is still listening to this show, I do not like the word leer. Stare, gawk, fixate. I'd much rather you use words like that. Guilty. Megan, good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you? Whoops, there we go. I think. Are you there?
Oh.
Are you there?
I'm not Megan.
Oh, you're not Megan. You're somebody. Okay, I've got 2 lines going here. Who am I talking with?
Oh, this is Moscow Mikhail.
Hey, Mikhail, how are you?
Well, I just wanted to send a Thanksgiving message. I hope everyone's house is infested with all their loved ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we aren't having loved ones at our house because, you know, my wife's a nurse. And, you know, I've had family members exposed. More than one, by the way. And I've had it in my family. So we're staying as much as hard as it is to do with this most, you know, solemn time of year, the best time of year, the time of year we give thanks for family and and food and what we have, the bounty of our work, we can't celebrate with anybody, just my wife and me this Thanksgiving. She picked up a little turkey. So,
a little turkey other than yourself?
Yes. Oh, good one, sir. Yes. I'm actually a very big turkey.
Well,
Somebody pointed out yesterday, I think it was directed at me over on rightamericamedia.com. Well, you're one to talk, you're packing on the pounds. How do they know? How do they know I'm packing on the pounds? They don't know what I've had these pounds for a good number of years. I own them. I love them.
Yeah, well, they're good friends, and maybe you're, as you age, you're losing some.
I hope I really do need to. There's the whole health thing, and I get that too.
Well, anyway, my big what I am thankful for is that it's still America. We're just going to have to fight for her again.
Yep.
1775 days all over again. That's what I used to say. But I just hope everybody gets infested with a whole lot of loved ones, because we're all none of us are going to escape this earth alive. We're all going to die of something.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Yeah, that's kind of morbid, but you're right. I mean,
that's
the way it is. It's the way it is. Yeah. That's the last thing we want to think about at Thanksgiving. But yeah, I do all the time. I mean, we do. As we get older, we do. But kids today, they don't understand that we fixate on the end. We live like there's no tomorrow because we know there may not be.
Well, that's the thing.
And we like it.
We've been around long enough to know how this story ends.
Right.
And that's why it's most important now to hug everybody you can.
Right. No, I agree. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, Mikkel.
All right. You too.
Take care, buddy. Bye now. 1137, Legacy 1160. Hi, good morning. You're on with John.
Hello.
Hey, Megan. How are you?
Good. I didn't watch your whole show, but I tuned in after a certain topic, and oh boy.
Everything, you okay? Everything okay? You gonna have a good Thanksgiving?
I'm having Thanksgiving. My father's coming over. I don't care what Commie Cuomo says until he pays my bills. I'm celebrating Thanksgiving like any other year.
Well, see, that's the way I look at it. If you're inviting your dad over and your dad knows whatever I don't know, you probably haven't even been exposed. You probably know for a fact you don't have COVID-19, as most people, they know if they've been in public and may have been exposed or not. So you have free will to invite him over, and of course he can either accept or decline. It sounds like he accepted. It's mutual consent. It sounds like
he's the same way. He's like, I don't care what Cuomo says. I'm coming over your house for Thanksgiving.
Well, that's the thing. The thing that some of these statists don't get is that the more they push, the more you want to disassociate with them and push back by breaking the rules.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear in Oregon that apparently some counties, 2 counties in Oregon want to secede from the state?
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
And people are pushing back. They've had enough. I mean, I was watching Louder with Crowder the other day, and he was talking about how to peacefully but respectfully civil disobedience.
Yeah.
And a bunch of sheriff's deputies and a health department inspector came into their business, and they basically said that you're not allowed here. It's a private business. Do you have a warrant? Get out.
Yeah, I read about that. Did that happen in Buffalo?
Yes, and then Jews got together in New York City.
Yeah,
regardless of the lockdowns and everything. Huge celebration.
Yeah,
traditional wedding. And I was like, I dare Cuomo to send somebody to these people. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know.
People are over.
People are going to start, and this. They don't understand. People are going to they are getting to the point. We are getting to the point where, okay, we've played long enough. been. We're done playing the game now. I will, and I will. I've told you, and I think you've disagreed with me somewhat. I will wear a mask when I'm near people. I will, out of respect. And there is.
I need to send you a video. It's actually a doctor, a virologist. Okay.
Yep.
And they talked about masks. And my dad sent it to me. She actually talks about how they really aren't that sufficient in protection.
Right.
And it's very good interview. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It's this is what I've been saying all along, just not in so many words, and expertly done, and, articulated with big words. But this is pretty much what I've been saying from the get-go. And I was like, we're locking our country down. I saw the other day, the Ingram angle, a clip someone filled in for her, but talking about the impact it's had on our kids in the schools, that over 50% of Fairfax County students are failing, John, failing. And I'm like, what are we doing? It's a virus. I'm tired of hearing people say it's a disease. It's a virus. Yeah.
It is a virus.
I totally agree. It is real. Is it as bad as they claim? I don't think so. Not if you're healthy, or you don't have, underlying health conditions, and you're elderly.
And
but, any other virus.
But that's where I do get it. I will not deny that masks may help. People say they don't, others say they do. I respect both sides because both sides have respectable people who know their stuff. So I will err on the side of caution. But plus, I have a nurse in my home who swears that you need to wear a mask when you can't social distance.
Well, this virologist made it a point that she believes that these masks work in a medical setting, because the way that healthcare workers don the mask on and take them off properly, and they're changed. They're supposed to be changed prior to this virus.
I know.
Changed between every patient.
Right.
Then it does work.
Yeah.
But when you have people wearing the same mask, not putting them on properly, pulling the mask off by touching the mask itself, it is rendered useless, she basically said.
Okay.
And it is.
Okay, if for no other reason, okay, let me play devil's advocate here. If for no other reason, you wear a mask to do the so-called kabuki dance, meaning you don't believe they work, you're sure they don't work, but you still want to make people at least feel safe, and you don't want to be singled out. I'm personally, I don't like to be singled out either, and everybody's wearing masks, and so I do care about that. I do care about,
This is how I see it. And if it makes you comfortable, makes you feel safer, go ahead and wear it, but don't force it upon me.
Yeah,
and
okay.
if you're so concerned that, I'm wearing a mask, and you think these masks work, then you shouldn't be worried at all. And if you're getting in my face over not wearing a mask, obviously it's not as dangerous as everybody is claiming it to be, and you don't find it as dangerous as you're claiming it to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you go out your way to argue and to put people on the spot and dox them over a mask. It's like, worry about you. If you're worried about this stuff, stay away from me. Wear your mask. Feel safe wearing your mask. But do you see the ridiculousness behind it? It's like you're so worried about the virus, but yet you're getting in my face.
I do. Here's my bottom line, Megan, and then I've got to let you go. My bottom line is, I will wear a mask. I will wear a mask. I do believe they help. I do believe they help. But
I do to some degree.
But I don't like the government telling me I have to wear a mask.
Exactly. And it's not a law, it's a mandate. There's a difference between a law and a mandate.
There is.
It's a constitutional right to breathe freely and not have, it's like it's comparing it to a muzzle,
Yeah.
It's the worst thing to do as an asthmatic to have a mask on.
Right.
And people even with asthma are getting attacked for not wearing a mask because they have a legitimate medical reason not to. You do not want to restrict your nose and your mouth if you're an asthmatic. That's the last thing you want to do.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
And, but it's like, you do you. It's the same way I feel about vaccines, okay? you're so convinced that vaccines work, right? That you have immunity to something because of a vaccine, then why are you so worried about me?
It should be up to the individual. Everything like that should be up to the individual.
Exactly. It's my body, my choice.
Absolutely. Which is what the abortion activists say, but it's not their body. That's the thing.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference, because it's a separate entity. It's a separate living thing.
Absolutely.
The first being as early as 4 to 6 weeks. That is a living thing.
Amen.
If we declare someone dead the moment the heart stops beating, then why aren't we declaring someone is living the moment the heart stops beating?
Gotcha. I'm with you on that. I got to run, Megan. I've got a lot of stuff I got to get to. Just a short time to do it. But
okay.
You have a great weekend, okay? Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
You too, John.
Bye now.
Bye.
11:45 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. The whole mask thing, for me, it comes down to government mandates. It doesn't come down to they're effective, they're not effective, they help, they don't help. I get that. I understand it. I understand there are people on both sides, but I think the more the government pushes, the less people are going to do it, the less apt the people are to do it. I really believe that, because we're in a free society. Now, if we were in a communist society where communism, socialism, if you didn't do what the government said, you got killed. God forbid we ever come to that. But who knows, this slippery slope we're on now, what's going to happen? Then you obey or you die. Already, the left is insinuating that we, Trump supporters, should be sent to re-education camps. This is the start of a slippery slope. These people are using communist language. Watch out for that. Don't think it's benign. Don't think it's irrelevant, because it's not. 11:47 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Okay, we've got I want to get to a few more things. We need to get to the election here. And the reason I say and have said, and got pushback this morning, which is good. I like the pushback. Hopefully the people who push back are still listening, who insist Joe Biden is the president-elect. Well, maybe he will be, but he's not right now. He's not. I don't care what the AP or MSNBC or Fox News or anybody else says. I do not care. How far gone must you be to believe that they can call the election when there's litigation being done and the map is at the Epoch Times, epochtimes.com, and it outlines the states that are not called yet. And neither Trump nor Biden have enough electoral votes to be president. Eric Coomer, you may not know that name. There was a piece about him we had on earlier this week. This is a different one. This is from One America News. Oh, I know. It's a propaganda media. No, you want propaganda media? Look no further than CNN. Look at Chris Cuomo and Joy Reid and all of the bozos, Chuck Todd and all of the bozos on there, the lying propaganda Democrat National Committee members. There's your propaganda media. OAN is a good network, which I know because they are hated by the left. That's how I know when a network is a good news network, because the left hates them. Because where the left does not deal in truth, the right does. And the right understands truth and promotes truth and loves truth, regardless of whether it hurts or not. OAN is a very good network. Correspondent Chanel Ryan spoke with a founder of FEC United. His name is Joe Altman. He made a bombshell discovery about a key member of Dominion's leadership. His name is Eric Coomer. And he overheard a conversation. Now, Dominion's denying any involvement whatsoever in any election fraud, which makes you think, that's a sign there might be election fraud. Here is the report, which, if it has a modicum of truth, should make the entire election illegitimate. This is from OAN.
One America's Chanel Rion speaks with founder of FEC United, Joel Oltmann, who made a bombshell discovery about a key member of Dominion's leadership.
Joe, you infiltrated an Antifa conference call this past September and accidentally came upon a top Dominion voting systems executive named Eric Coomer. Describe that call and what it led you to find.
It was interesting how the call started. Someone says, "Who's Eric?" He says, "Eric's Dominion guy." Someone actually said, "Hey, go ahead." I told him to continue speaking. And someone interrupts and says, "What are we going to do if effing Trump wins?" And Eric responds, and I'm paraphrasing this, by the way, "Don't worry about the election. Trump is not going to win. I made effing sure of that." And then they started laughing, and somebody says, "Effing right." At that point, I thought to myself, this guy's crazy. These people are crazy because they think that they are, Jedi warriors and they can just will themselves to Trump not winning.
Fast forward to just after the election, Oltmann sees an article concerning Georgia's last-minute Dominion voting software updates. The article cites Eric speaking on behalf of Dominion. Oltmann remembers his September call and begins to dig deeper.
But I did do research on Eric, and so I just put a simple Google search to start, which was Eric Dominion, Denver, Colorado. And Eric Coomer came up immediately under Dominion voting systems. So anytime that there was a press release, Eric Coomer was the one giving that press release. Anytime that they were pitching the product to different municipalities, he was the one pitching the product. And I'm talking about Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, you name it, his name pops up everywhere.
The real shocker came when Oltmann found Coomer's Facebook posts.
And when I got access to his Facebook, you get that sinking feeling like what this is crazy. Here's a director of security of strategy and security at Dominion. And when I got into his Facebook page, that's when things really started to kind of come together for me that Eric Coomer was this, that he was not just Antifa, he was responsible for putting his finger on the scales of our election.
Posts including the Antifa Manifesto, vitriolic posts against all Trump voters, song links like Dead Prez and F the Police and F the USA. Oltmann says Coomer had the title and the power to exercise his vitriol through Dominion. If Coomer is investigated and found to have indeed tampered with a presidential election, such an action could be tried for treason. Unfortunately, the question is, will the FBI step up to investigate? For more on this interview and others, tune in for OAN's upcoming investigation on Dominion.
Okay, so where is all the anti-Americanism coming from? F the USA? Where do you see all this coming from? See it coming from conservatives? Do you see conservatives out burning the flag? Do you see conservatives pulling down the American flag at ICE headquarters and hoisting a Mexican flag? Where does all this anti-American sentiment come from? I know. It comes from the progressive left. That's right. No, I'm not smug and cocky in stating that. That's a fact. And the left doesn't like facts. They don't like facts thrown in their faces. It gets in the way of narratives. Blasphemy. 1154 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. So there may be more coming out from this attorney we've been talking about, Lynn Wood. Who is Lynn Wood? Well, you've heard me talking about him. Over the weekend, Lynn Wood, who represented the late Richard Jewell, and Covington High School student Nick Sandman, urged Georgians not to vote for two Republican Senate candidates in January unless they backed the president in his administration's lawsuits in the state's voter fraud. And I thought, what is he doing? We need the two senators. We need those seats, Lynn Wood. What are you doing? Well, according to Fox News, as Donald Trump's campaign officially requested another recount, this time a machine recount in Georgia, Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, they are the Republicans that are going to be in the runoff election against two Democrats. They suddenly are backing the recount efforts, continuing to slam the handling of Georgia's vote tallies. Loeffler and Perdue both previously called for Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to resign, saying the management of Georgia's election has become an embarrassment to our state. Now that Raffensperger has certified the election and the Trump campaign is requesting another recount because of the margin of victory, the two senators are fighting with the president. In the Senate race yesterday, Republican Senator David Perdue invited, and now, by the way, these two are Perdue and Loeffler are now behind the president and the recount and trying to help him overturn Georgia. Whereas they were being somewhat silent before, maybe Lynn Wood's tweet was brilliance. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. So clearly these two are now in the fight, and they will get the support of Republicans. In the Senate race yesterday, David Perdue, one of the Republican candidates, invited New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to come down to Georgia and campaign for his Democratic opponent, because she is a buzzkill. Alexandria. Talk about the devil coming down to Georgia, huh? The incumbent senator is facing off against John Ossoff in the January 5th runoff. He said, I want to buy her a ticket. I want her to come. Now, Lynn Wood may have something else up his sleeve, too, by the way. And this, I'll make this quick. We're almost out of time. He tweeted, would someone ask my never-to-be friend Brad Raffensperger, Georgia Secretary of State, if he has seen this tape of election fraud at State Farm Arena in Fulton County, Georgia? Several people have seen it. Many more will see it soon. Video camera eye does not lie. How do you spell election fraud? Now, Lynn Wood, you'd think he would, he's got something the eyeballs can see. Do you think he's going to say something like that and not back it up? Lynn Wood? Whoa. Wood served a subpoena to Georgia officials seeking the video evidence which may reveal voter fraud. In the subpoena to the Secretary of State, Wood asked the state to produce the footage from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, which was filmed between November 3rd and 4th. They're specifically interested in videos from room 604 and the elevators around it. He believes ballot dumps and tampering took place at the State Farm Arena when officials stopped the count due to a burst water pipe, which it turns out actually never happened. Ooh. The plot thickens, which is why I say Joe Biden is not the president-elect. Additionally, Wood found Democrats allegedly destroyed evidence of voter fraud with an A1 shredding truck. In a series of tweets yesterday, Lynn Wood posted videos of an A1 shredding truck outside a polling location in Cobb County, Georgia. No fraud, nothing to see here. Let the chips fall where they may. More to come, and soon. I speculate that next Monday we'll have a whole new bunch of circumstances to talk about, whether it be fraud and overturned elections or President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. I'm not going to speculate on which scenario will play out, but my guess is we'll be a lot closer to an answer. I thank you very much for joining me. Again, I will be on later on this afternoon with Doc Green at the Right America Network. RightAmericanNetwork.com, also on Facebook. And sometime in his second hour, which would be 3 to 4, our time, he's in Texas. So maybe I'll see you there. But live, love, have a great Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for being my friend, being part of the show. I'll talk to you on Monday. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Why settle for just one day of discounts when Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep's Black Friday sales event will get you the best price on a new vehicle all November long? Stop by today. Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep, 507 Liquid Road, Clowes Corner, Madison.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin